Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to RLCS Overtime, your one-stop shop for all things RLCS and Rocket League eSports. I'm your host, Wavepunk, and I've got a Quinn Lobdell and a Marky Duda on the desk. What? What is this? What happened to Carpet? What'd you do with Carpet?
They just needed someone better, you know?
Oh, that makes sense.
Time to upgrade.
Yeah.
Time to upgrade, yeah.
I had to go with the beardless version, you know, take that one away. This is the last show, guys, before RLCS starts up for Season 4. We are so excited. We're going to definitely take some time this show. We got players here, we got former players here, we got analysts here. We'll talk about what we enjoyed the most in Season 3, 2, 1, and then also talk about what we're looking forward to in Season 4. But the big thing that happened this weekend, the NBC Universal Open is what we want to start with, guys. And my goodness, we were all there. You and I were casting. Marky was playing. It was a fantastic experience on all accounts, I felt like. How'd you guys feel this weekend?
I mean, it was really fun. I had a great time casting it, seeing 2v2, the meta develop. There's no 2v2 tournaments. Anyway, if you want to do more tournaments, make it 2v2. Let's get that meta sorted out, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like, I've never played a 2v2 serious tournament, just like little ones for like 50 quid here and there. So it was interesting, you know, playing 2v2 for a lot of money. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure. We can take a look at the bracket, see how everything panned out in this particular event here. The grand finals were a lot of fun. Happened in Santa Ana at the eSports Arena, and you can see so many teams showed up here. Everybody's starting in the upper bracket. Some big upsets happened there on day one at the very beginning. G2 Esports getting beat 2-0, swept by Ambition Esports. And then in Gale Force having to go to 3 games there against Incognito. Splice got beaten by Cloud9, but then Cloud9 getting knocked out by Marky Duda and his buddy Cookser here, knocked down to the lower bracket. So much crazy stuff happened. And the craziest thing that happened is we look over back at the lower bracket, how things panned out there. Cloud9, Fibian 2-0, day one. Tournament favorites getting knocked out. It was crazy. We'll talk about them again in a bit, but you can see the other big story was Method making the run through the lower bracket. These guys dropped 1 goal in their run through the winner bracket. These guys didn't drop a single game, and then made easy work of people down in the bottom, almost losing to Sizzle Your Cobb, but getting the reverse sweep there. So it was crazy stuff. And as you can see, going back to the top here, Gale Force Esports, they played them in the winners finals, and then in the grand finals, it was Gale Force Esports that comes out on top, finally getting the victory they've been chasing all summer. You heard K-Dop saying it in the interview afterwards. He's like, 4 losses in a row, 4 second places in a row, being this close. It finally felt really good for them to get the win.
Yeah, you know that after you get second place so many tournaments in a row, it's already difficult to get into the grand finals, but to get second place so many times, it becomes like a little bit of like a curse, like a mind game. Something starts psyching yourself out. So I mean, I can imagine it's pretty important for those guys to finally break the curse.
I think definitely a couple of the last couple of finals they've been in, there's been like a mental block for sure. Like at X Games, I think they should have won, but like, I think they had that little mental block, you know, so many second places.
Yeah, that was a reverse sweep, I believe, right?
I think it got in the way for sure, yeah. So it's nice to break that.
This has got to feel really good for them. And I want to talk, we mentioned it earlier, I want to talk about Cloud9. So many people were looking at Cloud9 coming into this tournament and calling them the favorites, the best hope from North America. And they get knocked out on day one in just 3 series. Marky, dude, that was the team to do it here. You know, talk to me about Cloud9 and about the expectation of Cloud9 coming into this tournament.
Well, we went in and we were a wee bit scared of them because, like, you know, they've been scoring crazy goals. Their redirects have been like bar down every time, and it's just, you know, hard to defend because you see a ball fly over to one of them in space and it's like, well, I've got to save a top corner shot here. But honestly, they came out and played against us, and I think they really underperformed, in my opinion. Like, not to take away from my own performance, but like, but like they made some big mistakes, honestly. Like, there's definitely a couple of like counterattack goals where just like they had all the pressure and then they went for like a weird pass or like a weird bump, and I just had an open goal and I just scored.
Is there anything different? And like as a defender going up against Squishy Muffins and with a ceiling shot threat, like what do you think about that? Like, how do you deal with that as a defender? Does it really change anything on the defense?
I'm not a big fan of people going for ceiling shots in 2v2s because it takes up a lot of boost, and like obviously it takes quite a long time to recover because you got no boost and you're like flopping off the ceiling and just, you know, you miss your shot and you're just like wee for like a minute just watching them dribble in the counterattack. So honestly, every time they went for a ceiling shot, I was like, unless they absolutely nail it, we're probably going to score or at least have like a really good chance. So yeah, it wasn't that scary, to be honest.
Well, you guys knock them down to the lower bracket, and then Fibian takes care of them down there. Another team that everyone was considering a dark horse, the former Applesauce roster. Their 3v3 team has been great. But another team, you know, Flipside was on the tournament as well. Talk to me about the run for you guys here, because you didn't make it all the way to the finals or anything, but you had a pretty good run, all things considered. How did the tournament feel for Flipside?
They got off to a little bit of a nervous start against Timmy and Red. We did beat them, but like I felt like we could have played better. And then obviously we played Cloud9. played pretty well. Like maybe got gifted a couple goals, but we played well. And then like the next day, we played Method, and they just they just annihilated us. I think it was 6-0, 6-1.
Yeah.
And I played terribly, and that felt bad. And then I think we had Market, and that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I think we were 1 second away from winning, and they just scored on the counter-attack, and
yeah,
it happens.
Not to discredit or anything, or to kind of rub it in. I mean, that was a pretty crazy play there from Market to tie up the game with 1 second left. There was a bump on the backboard.
And Pesci's goal in overtime. Like,
yeah.
I've never seen Pesci double touch in his life.
Yeah. That was an incredible shot.
All of a sudden he hits this insane shot. I'm like, oh well, you know.
Yeah, it had to feel really good for Pesci. A lot of people have been like, starting to wonder, is he starting to cool off? He's had a long run of not having success. So
plus, we've ruined a lot of lands for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any when you play against Pesci, you guys had so much success against them in the past? Are you just in your head going easy peasy or what?
Well, yeah, until now, yeah.
Well, it was Pesci that beat you guys in the RLC Pro League, though, as well.
That doesn't count, does it?
Doesn't count. It's too long ago. Too long ago to think about. And you talked about running into Method and feeling like Method was this team that I feel like many people did not expect, but I bet you European guys were definitely expecting them to be good. I mean, I feel like it was maybe the North Americans were sleeping on them. Talk to me about Method. That was the other big story for me, them making it all the way to the finals.
Well, they're a really, really tough pair, Metzer and Magnus. It's really hard just to keep the ball in their half. Like, every touch they take is really powerful. They get up to the ball so quick in the air. They're accurate. They're just like mechanically very sound, and they rotate really well. It's just a really hard team to play against, honestly.
Yeah, it felt to me like they were playing like nearly perfect defense at times, and then the offense was there to back it up. They could hit the crazy shots near the net, like, 0 angles.
I'd say like the one flaw they maybe have is they're not particularly creative. Like, they're a bit readable, but if you're off your game at all mechanically and they just like hit their shots, it doesn't matter if you can read it, if it's like flying past you in the top corner, You
could see the amount of pressure they put just going up for challenges constantly. It's like something I really didn't see from a lot of the other teams. And if you agree with me, it's just like every single clear, it feels like they wouldn't let that go to their own half. Right away going up. Yeah.
All over you, like they couldn't get the ball out of our half.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch. I know it's got to feel good for them because they're a team that a lot of people had like just been sleeping on, but not really thinking about, especially even in the 3v3 scene. So got to feel good to make it all the way here. They made it all the way to the finals, but then fall in the gale.
And we talked about their travel situation. Remember the fact that Method coming all the way from Finland, they ended up, I think, was it Magnus's dad traveled with them, ended up staying up for 24 hours straight just to make sure they made like 3 or 4 different flights and a road trip down to the tournament. So.
And then they landed, and they had to immediately go and do like pictures and stuff like when they got there. And they were like, oh, I guess this is just the next thing I'm doing on this long day that we've got here. So, but okay, the other a bunch of amazing stories happened here this weekend. But the other thing that was really interesting was watching the NRG boys be split up onto 2 rosters. We start with Dap G here. Dapper from Renegades and Garrett G from NRG were one of the favorites to win as well. There was a bunch of teams from America that we thought had a good shot. Dap G was definitely one of them. And then you see also Jacob in these pictures here was on the other roster with Sizzle Your Cobb. These guys were crazy to watch, and they've had some of the best play we saw from North America.
Yes, Sizzle Your Cobb, really just high-flying aggression the entire time. It was so entertaining to watch, especially Jacob, just so many really fast plays. It felt like he didn't want Sis to do anything. He could do it himself.
I mean, but I was really impressed because he says just such energy. The thing that was amazing about this particular roster, the Sizzle Your Cobb roster, was the energy and the excitement the guys had about everything. They were so animated. They had this like little fan of groupies too behind them that would like stand behind them for every goal. They had a big old Jacob hat on and everything, and they were just amplifying the energy that these guys had. And I was actually really impressed with Sizz, especially on day 2. I felt like he was really playing out of his mind and getting the top 3 finish.
Yeah, I felt like with Sizz, it's difficult to play with Jacob, especially considering the fact that Jacob is such an aggressive player as it is, and so is Sizz. And when you come into 2v2, I mean, you were just mentioning how you think ceiling shots are ridiculous. It's just too much aggression. There's not really a place in 2v2 for that much aggression. So to see them actually go as far as they did, I thought it was a surprise. How did you feel?
Well, I think like, they played amazing the whole tournament. I think a lot of that's to do with like the energy and like just the fact that they were having fun. It can be quite easy if you're like taking it too seriously to get a bit demoralized if you concede a couple goals. But like I think they were just there to enjoy themselves, and that meant that the whole tournament they were just playing their game and just going for shots and just
And
it felt to me like they had almost like this untouchable attitude. When they're in that good of a mood, regardless of how they're performing, like how can you possibly mentally get into someone's space, you know? How can you possibly demoralize anybody?
yeah, it felt like the only thing that took them out was when we got to that little bit of a break where they had some time to cool off in the middle of their series against Method. They were up 2-0, like dominating fashion as well. It was like not by any means close matches, and then out of nowhere, Method with that reverse sweep.
Yeah, I think that was also partly just Method stepping up as well. Like I think they went from being quite passive and quite like, you know, just sort of
lethargic,
a bit lethargic and a bit like uneager, and then like when like they were like against the wall, they started like going up for all these balls really fast and going for passes and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they said it was like, you know, we had the break. They're like, let's just take it one game at a time, and then they started shutting them out over and over again, and then it was really crazy to watch Method go. We could keep talking about the tournament. We're gonna move on as this show is just getting started. We got a lot of exciting stuff on the line for you guys here. We saw Quinn and Kevin talk about their top 10 through 6 last week. It was pretty crazy. You want to see their 5 through 1? It's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to RLCS Overtime. This is Carpet and Quinn's Top 10. Now, if you watched last week, you'll notice that we did only 10 through 6 of our top 10. And you'll also notice that one of us completely forgot everyone that we wrote down for our own top 10 within probably 12 to 16 hours. I don't know how long it had been. Maybe a day. I don't know how early. Are you a procrastinator?
Yeah, I reviewed it a lot too. It didn't help.
Yeah, I guess it didn't help. So I felt bad, you know? I didn't want Quinn to be alone on, you know, the whole, I have no idea what's going on, I might be kind of stupid train. I wanted to join you on the stupid train. So we both agreed not to look at our top 5 since we wrote them last week. After that was done, we had a great moment. It was really funny. Also, you made me kind of angry, but it's okay. I think we worked past it. We're friends still. But we decided not to look at it. So we might catch ourselves off guard. I kind of remember who my top 5 is, but I have no idea what order in. And since you left us on such a good note, Quinn, why don't you start us off this week?
All right, let's move into my number 5 pick. Again, I have no idea who this is, so we're going to find out as soon as I turn up. Remco, a great pick, actually. Yeah, he's the man. I'm really, like, expecting him to be a little higher. My past self, I don't know if I agree with.
Yeah, it's a little low.
Yeah, kind of like also making it to every land, like what, like number 3 every time, except
and winning the most recent one?
Yeah, except for also winning the most recent. So past me, I mean, taking it now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, give yourself a little benefit of the doubt. At least you didn't forget about him.
Let's see who your number 5 pick
my
is,
number 5, who do I got? All right, I got Jacob. I think that's fair. You know, I think a lot of times his performance, obviously at LAN, struggles a bit. It's like the NRG curse. But in North America, they're super consistent. And I think his creativity, for me personally, puts him way up there above a lot of players. He's one of the few people I think that breaks the mold of what it takes to get the ball across the field. I'm putting Jacob at my number 5.
Above Squishy?
Yes, above Squishy.
And Violent Panda?
We don't talk about Violent Panda, okay? We've agreed that it's a name not to be said here before it brings back emotions that I don't want to talk about here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Squishy, for me, personally, I think he just needs to prove a little bit more, personally. But we'll see where the rest of us go. What do you got, Quinn?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Oh, there it is.
Go! Oh, speaking of the Devil, Squishy, he's so good, and I'm really happy that I put him fourth. I actually wouldn't disagree if I were to put him as high as second. I think he's good enough.
Wow.
And
second?
Yeah, he's really good. I mean, ever since DreamHack Atlanta.
That's high praise.
Did you see that one ceiling goal that you can hear me commentate? My voice gets really high pitched because I was like in absolute amazement
I'm not
in the Universal Open Regional.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Squishy is seriously nuts. Like, you know, one of the most innovative players right now in the competitive scene, basically creating the ceiling shot.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty true. I mean, I'm not denying a raw skill.
Shout outs to you, Squish.
Yeah, raw skill, he's up there. For me personally, I wanted to go off of with performance, and I just want to see him prove himself to me first.
So you're just hanging on to a past.
Yeah. I'm just holding. It's just like I don't want to get my heart crushed. So many players.
You hold a lot of grudges, don't you?
I don't hold grudges, but I get emotionally invested really quickly. You know, Squishy, don't break my heart because I want to put you higher, but I'm being timid.
I could make a new pop song. Squishy, don't break my heart.
Don't Squishy, don't break my heart. My number 4. What do I got to tell you? I got Devo number 4. I mean,
it seems a little low.
For me, I'm a Devo fanboy. I'm a little sad at myself because I think honestly I would have wanted to put Devo. I mean, not way higher. There's only 3 more spots. But when I look at this, who's supposed to be above me? Okay, they're Quinn's over here losing his glasses. He's just he's all over the place. No, I mean, I think Devo in general, he's shown so much consistency. I mean, he was the highlight reel of like season 2, season 3.
Yeah, really, he was.
He just came seemingly out of nowhere. Like, yes, he'd been around, but all of a sudden he just showed up with force and just like showed everybody how consistent he was at really difficult shots. And he's continued to do so. I mean, he's the tallest guy I've ever met, I think.
Yeah, he's huge. Everybody doesn't know. 6'7"?
7? He's really.
He's like taller than Pashy.
He's intimidating.
Which is crazy because Pashy's huge.
Yeah.
And speaking of huge, number 3.
Speaking of.
Turbo Pulsar.
You know what? I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, actually, I'm kind of surprised I didn't have him as number 1. I thought I did. I mean, I really had no idea who was going to be on my list, I'll be honest with you. But Turbo Pulsar, the absolute god. This guy comes in as the substitute for Northern Gaming and brings them to the RLCS LAN victory.
On a reset.
Yeah, on a reset. I mean, everybody out there who like tries to, honestly, I think he deserves to be higher than Remco. Remco consistent over so many lanes, but I think without Turbo Pulsar, they were never winning it. So Turbo, I love the way you rock those shorts, man.
Keep rocking the shorts. Okay, I will say, I do know that Turbo is one of these. I just don't remember where. So let's see, what's my number 3?
Oh,
hey, yeah, okay, I guess we agree on something. Let's just move on then. While we're still feeling good about each other, let's just move on.
Cucks are good.
Oh, there's the fanboy. There it is.
What? Where? You had Cucks at like 8 or something, right?
Have you watched
you
him lately?
crazy?
He's not been winning.
Yeah, it's a team game.
Exactly.
What? Okay. No, Cucks is seriously insane. Everybody who's, if you don't listen to a word this guy says, Cucks can go to any team in the world and improve them. He's one of the fastest, most creative. If you've ever seen this guy practice, he actually looks for the fastest routes to any ball in the field, and that's what makes him so quick. Dude, you can just see like the ingenious. He's so clutch. All those 0-second goals and the Cucks are wiggle, dude.
I'll give him. I gotta give it for the wiggle. I'll put him up. For the wiggle, he deserves number 2.
Can we see your wiggle?
I'm not giving you a wiggle, but I'll give you my number 2. Remco. I think Remco, just in general, is one of, hands down, the most consistent European players out there, or consistent world players out there. I mean, clearly not.
My description for Remco?
Clearly, I'm not. I think he's more consistent than number 5. That's for sure. I gotta say it. I mean, just.
I feel like you just ran out of players on your list. You're just like, okay, who was on that Northern Gaming roster? Devo, Turbo, Remco.
I mean, they're gods. You can't deny this.
Yeah, they're good.
You can't deny any of this.
Like, there's obviously
I'm not even going to speak to Cooks here. All right, let's just get to the top pick. Who do we got? I know we're going to differ here. Who do you got?
K-Dub!
Yes!
Yes, I'm so proud of my... Did you see him this past weekend?
To be fair, you wrote this before this past weekend. To be
exactly.
fair.
I knew I knew K-Dop, my minute #1. No, this guy actually, there's so many people who agree with me, and that his striking ability is just...
He's nuts.
There's nobody else who can compare to him. He just is so consistent, hitting shots in any part of the field. And I think, really honestly, Kuxer's the only one I think anywhere close, but K-Dop I think has a little bit more consistency.
Yeah.
And when we talk about just his positioning on the field, he's so difficult to predict, and his air dribbles, dude. He's so good.
He's pretty bananas. Honestly, if there's one thing I'm mad at my
really
past
like his
self,
French
is that-
accent.
Yeah,
I like
his accent's pretty nuts. I think if I'm mad at my past self, I don't think I'd put K-Dop in my top 10, which is probably kind of embarrassing. I really probably should have put him up there. He's not my #1. My #1 is Doink.
Garrett G, he's so good, but one?
What? Why not? Give me one reason why not.
He didn't win the US Open.
Doesn't matter. Have you ever watched this guy play? Have you ever?
Didn't win any of the RLCSs.
For any loss that he's ever had, has it ever been his fault? How many mistakes do you watch Garrett? Think of a mistake Garrett's made.
Well, I'm supposed to know every mistake the guy's
you
ever
are.
made?
If you want to disprove my #1, you have to disprove me. All right?
What?
Innocent until proven guilty. That is how it works.
Okay, so I guess there's just no more rules in overtime anymore.
Let us know which one of us you think is the bigger idiot, essentially. We decided to go in on this without any memories, and I think it fared out pretty well. It was better than our 10 through 6. I will say that our 10 through 6 was a mess. You should go check it out last week if you didn't enjoy it at all. But anyways, coming up, we still have Market Duty here, so we're gonna talk about a lot of hot topics when we come back. Should be some really fun stuff, some reminiscing. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to RLCS Overtime, ladies and gentlemen. We just got done hearing about the top 10 from these two guys over here. I don't want to hear any more about it because that was just what it was here. Quick chat is a new thing we're going to be doing here. We've done story time before.
Story time. Story time was nice.
Story time was fun. This is like formal story time. So just talking about, it's the last show before RLCS starts back up for season 4. So we just want to talk about what did we like about the previous seasons, memories, favorite moments, laughs, anything, and then also kind of look forward towards season 3. So, Carpet, what's your favorite memory from the past 3 seasons?
Mine's gonna probably be different than the two pro player and ex-pro player, I guess.
Yes.
Oh, Mark, were you putting quotes for yourself or for him?
Had to mention it.
I had to make sure to be specific. I don't want to.
Are you talking about me?
I don't want to insult Marky.
I mean, I lost to Pashi, you beat Pashi, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to say, I think just the first moment that I was like live on the season 1 LAN was just, I think we've spoken about it, so it's kind of a cheap shot to pull, but it's just one of those things that I'll never forget. Like the first time I knew that my face was going into that stadium or into the audience, and I heard people start to cheer because they were getting ready for that first game.
Yeah.
And just like you could see the smile creep on my face, and I got like the chills.
Yeah.
And knowing that how many, like that was the most amount of people that ever watched it at the time.
Yeah.
We like, I think we broke like 60K.
We broke like 80K the
We broke
first LAN.
80K, and like I remember I was kind of in a panic. I'm like, that many people are watching me be an idiot on camera. Like this is horrifying. But it was just one of those like moments of just like, this is what's going to happen for me for the next however long. Like this is a huge moment for me. It was awesome.
That first season was definitely, people always ask me like, so what do you think about season 1 of RLCS? And it's like, honestly, it was such a blur of just like, especially because of us traveling every weekend and stuff like that, and because we like, the growing pains of a scene, right? We didn't show all the games season 1, and so like things were happening with teams that I didn't know were happening, because I was just traveling so much, I just couldn't think through things, and I was just like, people were like, so what'd you think of season 1? I'm like, I don't remember. I don't remember a single game from season 1.
It was fun.
I remember the final. I remember like the last qualifier, like the end of the last qualifier, and like LAN. But like the first few games, I do not remember anything about. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think in the first season of RLCS, I mean, at least for me, I got to go and meet
All these idiots.
Yeah. all my fellow idiots, like I was too, right? And like that was the first time any of these guys who were like the vets were meeting each other too. So it was like a really awesome atmosphere for everybody like to meet each other. Everyone was so happy.
Just meeting everyone the first time.
So a lot of the start vets, especially season 1, a lot of the players had known each other like 6 or 7 years, you know, and it was.
And there was a really dope hotel.
That was the first time we got to meet Cooks here, wasn't it?
Hotel.
Yeah, it's the first time I met Cucks.
And you've been playing with him for how long?
Yeah, Mike, Pesci, Pod, and I'd known all them like 6 or 7 years. So it was weird, yeah.
Man, oh man, I had a good one. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, when it was Lawler and I were casting, when the first time you guys lost in season 1 LAN to iBuyPower Cosmic with the over 0 goal, and like the clip that just gets played for like days and days, and I'm wondering with specifically because Marky's here, like that was like people were like,
making it feel worse and
How
worse
does that
about it.
like the fact that that was
How'd you get back from that? How'd you bounce back?
the fact that there was like so many, like there was like so much hype around that goal, like oh my gosh, he went for the air dribble and gets the goal to go, and like were you just like rolling your eyes like he shouldn't have even gone for it?
There was just a double 50-50. Cucks and Mike both hit the ball, both made contact, and it just flopped into the goal. And everyone's like, that was amazing. And I was like, these stupid people.
So
You can say it's stupid casters. I wasn't on there. It's okay.
I could hear you as well, and I was just like,
I mean, it's
Oh, I remember that. I remember
oh,
hearing the
you guys
casters.
could hear the casters at season 1 LAN, couldn't you?
I think actually the coolest part playing on stage, I mean, that was only season 1 for me, but
And never again.
Never again, rip. The like bass in the stage, you could like feel the stage shaking every time you like went for a shot or something. I wouldn't even have touched the ball. I'd like going up the aerial, and I could like feel my desk starting to shake. And I'm just like, what's going on?
you had to like turn your mouse upside down because of the lights
Yeah,
on
it
the
would
mouse.
move on
Move the mouse.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the bass would move the
amazing.
mouse, so you had to like turn your mouse upside down, otherwise it would like interrupt
I
the
had
game.
never heard that. That's pretty crazy.
The atmosphere was nuts at the first RLCS.
It was a bit
and
intense.
all the RLCSs really, it's been pretty good.
One of my favorite memories, I think I've mentioned this maybe once before on this show, was actually the season 3 finals when you and I were casting, and they had the casters were like just off stage, like we could look on stage and see the people who were playing, and there was like the players would come past us to get on the stage and stuff, and while they're playing, it's Northern Gaming versus Mocket, and Greasy Meister is standing backstage on the Northern Gaming side, just like cheering, like no one can see him, no one knows anything, but he's like watching and just like everything's happening for Northern Gaming because these are his former teammates. He was really proud of them and stuff like that. It was just really cool for me to watch, to get this view that like no one else was getting to experience. No one else was seeing Greasy Meister do this, but like sit there while I'm casting, watching Greasy Meister like cheering for his boys. That was like such a cool experience.
Yeah, we saw a lot. Just great sportsmanship, honestly, for all 3 seasons. And you guys have probably seen it more than we have.
Yeah.
But just in general, the amount of times I watched opponents standing off stage waiting for their friends to come off, that they're not on the same team. They are there to compete. They're there to win money. They're there to become the champion. And yet they're still here cheering on their friends, especially if they get knocked out. They still are there to try and be a good sport. It's really cool to watch.
Yeah, for sure. It also related to Rocket League, and as it has grown over time, there's been a lot of it's an internet culture. We got memes. Memes continue on with your favorite memes from the past 3 seasons. I think my favorite, Marky mentioned it earlier when we were talking about them, is the Kronovi Mountain.
The Kronovi Mountain.
He started.
The Kronovi Mountain.
You know when
You
he
could have just said
Kronovi.
Mount Kronovi.
When
The Kronovi Mountain.
when he
it's
started
a professional term.
When he started in the interview, right? And he's like, they're like, you know, like he probably. I haven't actually talked about it. And you know, he says something like, I want to sound cool, right? I want to be the mountain. Everybody's gonna climb, and I'm gonna knock you off, and everyone's like, okay, cool. And then it just like blew up from there, and now it's an item in the game.
I remember actually when I heard that, I'm like, that's actually pretty clever.
Yeah,
like,
it
that's a cool thing. Like, I want to be the mountain. If you come off, I'll kick
It's
you
like,
right
I
back
want to be the
down.
final boss at the end of a dungeon or something.
I mean, we all play video games. Let's be honest. I think we all would have got the point.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! And Doomsy's like parody of it when he did his own interview.
Oh, that was
for like
that
the
was
ESL
godly.
67 or whatever. But like, and he was like, yeah, like I talking about his like Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu and karate.
Black belts. That's pretty good.
That was a good one. What was your favorite meme, Carpet?
I mean, we kind of talked about there are a few things that Lawler got pinned for a few times, and I think the roll the clip
Yes.
was my favorite one. Roll the
Roll the
clip.
clip?
Roll the clip.
Stop it.
It was one of
Roll
our
the
very
clip.
first times doing Telestrator. We were all super nervous about it.
That was where Toss Yourself came from too.
Yeah.
Was
I
that,
think-
that
I
same
love
segment?
Toss Yourself. Toss Yourself happened to me and Mike jumped all over it. I don't think Lawler heard the end of it for like 2 years.
I remember it.
He's still getting it. He still deals
I
with it.
think like when I first met Lawler, I was like, oh, hey, baller, toss yourself. Like, first time I ever met him.
It is, man. I was watching the I think it was Doomsy's after video of season 3 land, and like they had like all like the nice footage, the vile shot of all the different the people and stuff, and there was some like pan shot from out in the front of like a big group of people, and it just goes past this dude wearing a red hoodie that says "Toss Yourself" on the back. It's like still around, yeah. Like
That's
like,
awesome.
My favorite thing about Lawler is like with "That's the thing" and Baller here, "Toss Yourself." He's just like, cool, it's a thing that happened. Cool, I'm embracing it. I'm putting it on a T-shirt. I'm naming a TV show after it. We're just going with it.
Yeah,
He
and
was
now
kind
you're
of
gonna buy it and wear it.
Yeah, exactly.
Deal
Make
with
money
it.
off of it.
Yeah.
He made lots of money off of that. What about you, Quinn?
Memes. I don't know. There have been. I can't remember. You guys said all the good memes already. I think.
Good memes.
You looked so distraught.
I don't know.
It's okay.
I'm not as original.
Due to hustle. All the stuff that came from the interviews. So there was that. Oh my. Okay. The first. This isn't exactly a meme. This is going back to more of the memories. But the first time you did like an interview on RLCS when they were doing like the pregame interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, I just want to say hi, mom. They're like, oh, your mom watching? He's like, no, she's actually downstairs. And you yelled, hi, mom. That was so funny.
And that's when all the funny ones, like Sebadom and Doomsy started.
Yeah.
They did like their whole bits. Those were classic. They did a really good job of like selling their. And poor Axeltoss was sitting there like starting to ask questions and like they're just ignoring his question and just going on with their
Regular meme, yeah.
Sebadom's like reaching into a backpack like, oh, I'm carrying all these people. He's got them written on pieces of paper. I'm like, dude, you really had to push that for it. It was so funny.
Okay, so the memes are great and everything, but now looking forward to season 4 and what we've got coming up. One of the big changes that just got announced very recently was the standardization of maps. This has been something we've talked about a lot over the past few seasons. Is like, should teams specialize in a pocket pick of like Wasteland or Arc Base or Star Base?
Arc Base. Arc Base Star.
I like Arc Base.
I think Arc Base Star.
But those maps now are going to be just standard, normal, kind of rectangle shape, the standard map. And thoughts about this? I mean, a lot of us here have been pushing for that, especially in the community, especially the professional community has been split between whether they think that there should be a lot of deviation or whether there should just be one standard map. And I think it's definitely going to change things moving forward.
Yeah, I think the general consensus, correct me if I'm wrong, within the pro community is that they encourage it, but out of the maps that were there, nobody really liked actually playing them.
Yeah.
So like while they were appreciated, they just, everyone's kind of like, well, I'm worse on this map, I don't want to play it.
I think I'm in the minority in that I really wanted non-standard maps because I think it would open up a lot more like strategy and a lot more like creative plays. Because in my opinion, it's getting a little bit boring just seeing like all the standard plays on the standard maps. And if we could like have some like creative players like really figure out like some really nice moves to pull off ramps and stuff and to like take people out the game and go for crazy shots and passes off like doing some like parkour crazy stuff.
So do you think most of the other pros agree with you though that there should be non-standards? Or
I think all the interesting pros do. Maybe not the
but like, so thinking about like the decision's been made. We're moving forward with this standard maps, and it does give you. I think the thing that really helps with the professional scene is it gives you like an ease on like what to focus on. It takes away that whole situation. Does it make it easier like going forward to prepare?
Yeah, I also think like just purely not getting them anymore in ranked does at least mean like 100% of your practice time is on standard maps, and you're not like, it's like although I actually liked the non-standard maps, like sometimes if I like got given Starbase and I had
What was your favorite non-standard map?
Neo Tokyo, the old Neo Tokyo. But like,
Marky, you're a man after my heart.
Yeah.
Man after my heart.
But like every now and then when you'd get the non-standard maps and you'd like a tournament the next day, you'd be like, okay, I'm just wasting 5 minutes here. I want to practice these standard maps. So at least that's gone now.
I went back and forth on this, on whether I felt like we should have standard or non-standard and stuff, and like definitely the kind of the esports mentality of like create variety through variation made a lot of sense. But I early on was very much on the side of like just have the one map, because it was like this is it's a digital sport, right? We're modeling soccer, and like yes, there is variance amongst the fields you can play with on soccer, but they are kind of like fitting to a specific standard of a specific shape and the same sort of goals.
There's
and
actually,
stuff,
I mean, it's a bit of a side point, but I do think that stadiums in real sports actually vary quite a lot. I know that like in soccer specifically, like how they leave the grass can affect the type of soccer you can play.
It varies, but it doesn't vary to like, all right, we have extra walls or completely change the shape and stuff like that. And I do think it improves the fact that you have one thing to specialize on. You don't have to worry about learning all the different maps, and so the players will get better at just the one thing that we really want to see them get good at.
So that brings up a good point then. I mean, do you think that maybe they were being a little too adventurous with the maps, the map designs that they chose, and maybe that the answer to non-standard maps is something maybe a little bit more simple, like just kind of changing the dimensions of the map as opposed to actually creating new ramps or new walls?
I think a lot of it in the beginning when people were talking about it, like there are certain play styles that players adapt, whether they want to go for cheats, whether they want to go for wall passes, wall touches, air carries, dribbles, and you can manipulate a map in a very simple way to make one of those a lot harder. You can't really dribble on Wasteland, but you also can't really do wall stuff. I mean, Wasteland kind of does its own thing where it kind of stops you from. But I know that there were some ideas going through the community of like, what if we just made it shorter, so you mostly had to dribble, you couldn't do aerial stuff, or what if we made it like hard to dribble, but you can mostly do like other things to watch teams specialize in certain categories, and then maybe like do a map ban pick. I don't know.
It's something I hope that they like keep experimenting with as they move forward, but I will say it makes things like simpler and cleaner and easy. And the thing that we always loved about Rocket League is that it's so easy for people to catch on to. And if the field stays exactly the same moving forward, at least with competitive play, it's going to make it very simple for people to just really latch onto what's going on and not be like, wait, this map's different, the walls are curved, I don't get it, So I think it's a good thing. And moving forward, look specifically at Season 4, maps are going to be standardized, a lot of things changing here. Talk to me about your expectations of Season 4. Are we going to see another like super hot team like Cloud9 and Fabian like not make it in like we've seen the last 2 seasons? I mean, like, talk to me about Season 4, guys.
I mean, Fabian, I think that they're going to break the mold of like the new super hot team not making it in. These guys we saw the past weekend at the Universe Open. I mean, they're legit.
Yeah.
They've proven themselves already. This was their first LAN, or actually, I guess now they're second technically because they went to the regional.
The regional was
right? They went to the regional, and then they also went to the grand finals.
I don't know, man. I mean, I can't say that they didn't play phenomenally, but I really don't think 2s translates that hard to 3s. And I'm not saying they're not going to do really well in 3s, but you can be one of the best 2s players in the world, and your 3 team cannot make RLCS.
No, but I think that I agree with you in the fact that 2s is different format than 3s, and just because you're successful there doesn't mean that will carry over.
Yeah.
But I do think that the pressure and the type of situation that they're going to be in, that's like something that you go through in that qualification stage.
Fair enough.
It's a really long qualification, RLCS, and it's taxing.
Yeah.
And they're experienced with it. And being 16, 17, these guys are just being able to do RLCS tournaments. They didn't get that practice before, and they've shown that they can handle it.
Well, I think part of the reason these like young NA guns are like doing so well in that 2s tournament is because 2s leaves you a little bit more open to be creative and do like weird stuff, whereas 3s is a little bit more about being like professional and well organized. So like that translates a lot better for young boys than it does for
grown men.
Yeah.
People that haven't got the habits in,
like
right?
you.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah. Are there any European rosters that you should be keeping your eyes on, you think?
Well, like Method, but I don't think they're a secret anymore. There's one
What they
other
call
team.
secrecy? Isn't that a bad pun?
They were called.
What a bad pun.
There's one of the teams.
You had your eye on them for a while, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think about Frontline?
Frontline? Who's
Farah and Shalset.
See, Shalset's a tough, like, defensive player. Like, he's really tough to break, but I don't think they have enough going forward to, like, cause too many problems.
What do you think about Maestro now?
Maestro's one of those players that's always going to be around, but mostly because he's really talented and not because he's playing a lot and working hard. He's sort of, I don't want to say he's coasting, I don't want to like insult him like that, but like he's got university, he's just got other things in his life,
Yeah.
So he's
But I mean, him playing now with also the new leftover squad,
yeah.
how do you think that he's going to fit in there? What do you think they're going to do?
I think he's a really similar player to Farah, but like a little bit better, in my opinion. So
really?
I think leftovers are just going to be just a little bit better now. Yeah. More or less the same, just wee bit stronger.
There's so much changing here with Season 4. We can talk about the prize pools announced earlier today, talk about the money that is on the line here. $400,000 going to be on the line here, $350,000 for RLCS, and then $50,000 of that going to the RLRS, the Rival Series, which is the last thing we're really going to talk about here before we quickly go to break. These guys were splitting into a relegation system. We've all given our opinions on the relegation system here. Marky, I'm most interested in your opinion as a player. Thoughts about the relegation system and now having a secondary league that complements RLCS?
I think it's good for the scene in general because it makes it easier for sponsors to come in because there's not like the risk of you know, last season when Squishy's team screwed it up. There's not like that's not as big a risk anymore because you know they're still going to get airtime in the second division. You know, it's just easier for sponsors to come in, so it's good for the scene, I'd say.
Absolutely. Well, guys, so much memories, so much fun times we've had so far with RLCS, and it's just going to continue on in Season 4. It's going to be great. We're going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, Yummy Cheese Man's going to be talking to us about the OCE region, the other part of RLCS that we have not been talking about as much here. He's going to get us all up to date. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Breathing underwater. Can't let you go now. Making it so hard. You got to know now. Ooh, taking it too far. Nothing to hold now. I'm falling apart. Out in the cold now. Breathing underwater. Breathing underwater now. I can't let go.
Welcome back to Overtime, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last episode we have before Season 4 gets underway, and everyone, everywhere, all over the world is getting ready for Season 4, including Australia and the Oceania region, as our friend Yummy Cheeseman likes to say. Anytime we want to talk about Oceania, we got to talk to Yummy Cheeseman, so just going to let him take it away from here. Down to you, Yummy.
Thanks, Wave Punk. I hope you're doing well. Just kidding. Don't care about what he thinks. Tom!
Yes, Yummy.
We've got you here to talk about the OCE off-season as we head into Season 4. And there's been a lot of changes amongst all the teams, a lot of tournaments. We've basically got an amazing top 5 right now.
And a close top 5. If you asked me like a month or two ago what it was going to look like at the top of the ladder, I would have concrete answers for every slot. Yeah. But the mix-ups have been insane.
There's been so many changes, and let's sort of go through some of them right now. A lot of new teams, a lot of new organizations, and if the teams have stayed, they've probably switched rosters, with one exception, Chiefs eSports Club. Who are Chiefs?
I think they might know Chiefs, just under a different name.
Yeah, they were the Alpha Sydney last season, and they've been picked up by Chiefs eSports Club, potentially the largest organization in all of Oceania. So that's massive news for Rocket League here. It's been really exciting to have them enter in. but some of their performances haven't been quite the same.
Yeah, they've been quite lackluster. Like, for Throwdown example, they were going into the tournament and, you know, they've taken out every other Throwdown competition. They've been consistently one of the top teams, if not the top team in OCE, and they didn't even place top 2 Yummy, not top 3.
I mean, season 1 and 2, they won.
Yeah.
Under Alpha Sydney, they were the champions. Coming into season 3 of Throwdown, the off-season tournament, the Throwdown run, they came 4th. It was crazy. They went from the champions, but then you move that in. Jam Gaming, they came first in that tournament. A team that, going into RLCS season last season, they just made it through to the World Championship, and they didn't even get a victory there.
EU teams are tough, though.
Of course, but now they're looking really strong, right?
Yeah, they're looking so strong. This is the first time they've taken out a major tournament from under Chief's noses. Chief has normally got the lockdown on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they dropped down and Jam stepped up to the plate. But behind them, Pale Horse. Oh my God.
Pale Horse, a brand new team. 3 new players. They're not even players that have been really in the top 4 before. We saw Kami last season in the top 8, and he's always, well, he's a fairly new player starting at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But he's really risen up this season alongside CJ, and wait, who's the other one?
We've got X-Corez, Jules.
Yeah, there's too many players.
They've got 5 people
And
on their roster.
Kia is the last one, the sub for Sandcastle last season. They all come together, and they're taking a brand new org into 2nd place in Throwdown, and then 1 week later, the other off-season tournament that we had, the ESL Live Finals, their first ever Live Finals for all 3 of the players. They come 2nd in both tournaments.
No jitters whatsoever. And the crazy thing about them, they have 5 players and they like rotate through the roster almost willy-nilly without like a drop-in performance.
Yeah.
They can like start, it's like, oh, let's run Jules today. We'll still take 2nd first. It'll be fine.
Insane. And of course, the only team that beat the team that won was the Chiefs. So there is still signs there that they are going to make it to the RLCS World Championship, as well as Pale Horse eSports are going to go through. Of course, there's another couple of teams. Last season, we had 1 more. They've been picked up by Avant Gaming, but they have lost Shady to Jam Gaming and instead picked up Siki from Corvidae.
Good pickup, because Siki has sick mechanics.
Yeah, he's the Siki of OCE. Essentially, he's just so solid, so consistent, and he's great all over the pitch, which is a huge pickup for Avant Gaming, who really struggled in that area.
Yeah.
And Avant Gaming, you have to say, as an organization that have entered the scene, they're similar to the Chiefs. They're a huge organization, one of the biggest ones around here. They're another sign of the growth of OCE Rocket League. And, of course, there's only really one team that we've missed out on. As the team that came 3rd in Throwdown Season 3, and the team that didn't quite make it to the ESL Live Finals.
That was rough. I hung out with those guys after the Throwdown Finals. That was a hard
Silla
night.
eSports. Sandcastle last season, you know them. They've kept the same roster, Dumbo, AOEMP, and Snarf. And now they're going to be hungry to come through because they just missed out last season.
Yeah, that's the exciting thing, right? So Jam Gaming has now felt what it's like to be on top. So they're going to be gunning and wanting to be improving performance internationally. Chiefs have spent a season not being the kings anymore. They won the last LAN, but they didn't win Throwdown, which is a big thing for them. So we know how much coming first is all that matters to Chief. So they're going to be thirsty for it. Silla missed out so narrowly for getting into RLCS, so they want it. And then the other team, also known as one more now, Van. They have such an irritating naming
At least they don't have the other team.
Oh, that was so frustrating to cast. And the other team loses the ball to the other team.
Yeah, it's rough. But those are our top 5 teams that we're really looking for. Legacy, they've completely rebuilt their roster around Soma. They've brought in both Zen and Plitz from Corvidae. So they're a brand new roster. They're a team to look out. But
they got big wins this week, actually. I was looking through, I can't remember what competition it is, but they took out 2 of the top 5 teams this week.
Yeah.
So they're in a good place
I
as
mean,
well.
they've always been able to take it, but they haven't been consistent. So if they can build out their consistency, they should be able to have a chance at RLCS too. But who's your dark horse to sort of get into league play?
It was going to be Pale Horse, but it's not Dark Horse anymore because like, they came through the community bracket for the last season. It's like a month ago, they were the team that nobody was talking about. Now they're the team everyone's talking about. So they were my dark horse.
So
now
who's
they're
your
just my
actual
pale
dark
horse? I don't know. All the teams are such strong contenders.
Yeah.
I think now Chiefs are back. I think Chiefs are going to make the run all the way to the end. But yeah.
Yeah, and I would say my dark horse, I'm really looking at potentially Outlaws. They haven't quite shown up so far, but I think they'll be able to make it into league play through that top 16 qualifier. But who knows? OCE is in a bit of a state right now where anyone can win. It's going to be exciting, and make sure you're tuning in this Sunday at 12 p.m. AEST as the top 16 qualifiers kick off.
And that is Yummy Cheeseman coming to us from the Throwdown TV studio. They are going to be producing the league play part of the Oceania part of RLCS, so we're going to see from them and hear from them plenty of times here in the future. But we've got one more thing here on Overtime before we get done. OT Twitch clips, Overtime Twitch clips. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. We talked about it last week. Finally here, going to see you guys' plays from your streams from Twitch. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Been a great show, and the thing we've all been waiting for, hashtag OT Clips, about to happen. It's great. Only thing that's better than it is Marky actually followed me on Twitter yesterday.
Yep. Wave took my phone and pressed follow.
No, he just followed.
Second,
It doesn't matter how
back, I was like,
it doesn't matter how it happens as long as the follow's there.
If I took a screenshot of it, there's proof
cemented in history.
For at least 10 seconds, I was followed by Marky Dude. But guys, Twitch clips. This is what it's all about. You guys have been sending me your clips for 2 weeks, and now we've got 5 here. I hope that we do keep doing this.
Yeah, they're fun.
This is fun. I hope it goes well here. We haven't seen most of them, so most of them. I've seen like 1 or 2 because I don't know. Anyways, hopefully I think it was James that picked these. So James, you better pick some good ones here. Let's start with Mason RL90, common figure in the community, good friend. See how this goes here. Good. It says 3-man air dribble, so I have a feeling what's going to happen. That was okay.
Oh, wait. Am I there?
Wait, are you in this clip?
I'm in that clip.
What?
I remember playing this game with him. I'm pretty sure I'm in that.
So you at the bottom?
I think that was me on the bottom, smacking him about.
That's really funny.
Oh, that was cool.
That's.
Well done, Carpet.
Does it count as a 3-man air dribble?
No,
It's like,
no,
that
was just a cluster.
Wait, so you guys forfeited?
That's you, right?
No. Yeah, I think that was me. I can't read from
You're
here.
up by
How
4.
could you have forfeited? Yeah, you're up by 4 with 2 minutes left.
It looks like it said orange. Oh, no, it says
team.
orange won by forfeit.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
mind. They forfeited.
Has no one ever forfeited to you, Waypunk? Is that why you don't know?
Yeah, I don't know what it looks like, man. I don't know what it looks
Not
like.
familiar with that screen.
Were you gonna say something, Marky?
Nope.
Nope. Wasn't gonna say anything. It looked like you were about to start saying something.
Nope.
I just wanted to double
Nope.
check.
No,
Anyways, we're gonna move on. Lumen's got some clips for us now. I think he's got 2 in a row here, and I don't know if I've seen this one. Let's take a look at. It looks like it's a mixture of drop shot and rumble. Okay. Continue.
What?
So it's frozen. Spike.
I like how at first we were all really underwhelmed. Like, okay, we get it, it froze.
Yeah. But it's driving underneath the planks, but it's not going fully through the ground, so it doesn't
I
count
like
as an
how
explosion.
I didn't
Still
know what was
hitting all the
happening.
tiles.
Yeah.
Because it's still technically above the tiles,
yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
blow up. I don't think I've ever seen people play Rumble and drop shot together.
I've
Yeah.
played it before.
Is it fun?
Doesn't really work.
No?
It's fun, but
It is,
it's
yeah,
like,
it's fun, but it's so hectic.
I feel like Rumble's
just
already,
really
like
stupid.
Rumble's pretty hectic, and then drop shots like kind of hectic, and just mash them together. And
Yeah.
Just
Like,
mash.
Rumble,
mash
like
buttons.
sometimes like nobody has a good power up for a little bit, but then like a drop shot, you're always like drop shots are always really hectic. I feel
It
like.
can be kind of fun, like when the ball's about to go in and you get the plunger and you like aerial away and like you like
Yeah.
hook it out.
Yeah.
That's satisfying. But.
All right, so this next one from Lumen as well. Apparently his body betrays him. Somehow in Rocket League? Let's see.
The system there would work then. But I do think it's a good place to start.
Roll me on Tokyo.
I know.
If they show it again, you'll see you can actually see because he's got the controller on the screen. He like reflexively presses the brake right as he sneezes. I hope they show it again. Yeah,
That's actually
wait.
amazing.
Here. And jump.
I was actually thinking about this the other day. I've been pushing a sneeze back pretty much the entire time since this segment started, and I realized I don't think any of us have ever sneezed on camera.
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen a person sneeze on camera. I'm trying to think of like
I've
a show I was
sneezed on stream
watching.
before, but it's never costed me a goal.
Well, yeah,
I've
that's unfortunate.
Sneezed during lands for sure. Like mid-game, like Cucks, you gotta cover me just for a second.
Really?
Have you guys ever sneezed while like driving on the highway?
That's
You ever
horrifying.
that happen?
Yeah.
It's like legitimately like your head goes down and then like as you come back up your eyes get as wide as possible. He's like, I need to see all the things that I missed because there might be a wreck that's about to
I
happen.
like loosen up my hands because I know if I'm too stiff, I'm like, and then I'm just gonna. So I like loosen up.
Oh,
I'm like, all right, just enjoy it, just enjoy it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Fireburner and Lawler had a moment last week. This is the next clip here.
Juicy.
I saw this happen. Well, this is from Fireburner stream.
Oh my god.
He mind games Fireburner, poor Fireburner.
Oh no.
Oh no. Marky looks more upset for Fireburner than anything in the
I
world.
just know if that happened to me, I would never play again.
You know you'd never hear the end of it either.
I'd do this full time if that happened to me. I'd quit.
Yeah, it's the new John Sandman bald Rizzo. It's just like he's never ever gonna hear the end of it now.
Yeah.
Lawler bald Fireburner.
I mean, I think it's just, you expect us all to be bad, but we're not that bad sometimes.
Except for me.
Sometimes.
This game. That's okay. Well done, Lawler. Going down in the annals of casters who have bald players at some point. Not too many casters can say that. Next clip, last but not least, I'm sure. These are in no particular order if you hadn't noticed. Mystic and Karma doing something on the ceiling. Oh, is this a ceiling pass to ceiling, like a double Tarzan swing?
That almost looked like an own goal.
So, yeah, so she's,
Oh, that is dirty.
so she's,
That is insane.
The pass is insane, but the
Yeah,
fact that they were there for the shot was bananas. Like
What is
that.
this?
they
Who is he
both,
going
they
up
both
for?
did the ceiling. They both did the ceiling.
How is this an orange car? This looks like a blue car.
It's the dark bubbles.
That's why I thought it was like one of the best own goals I've ever seen. This pass is
Yeah, that is actually incredible clip control
I
there.
can't keep it down. That was actually nuts.
Man.
Marky looks unfazed.
Freestyles, They've been around forever, whatever. I'm over it.
Yeah, I think that just happened on a stream. So yeah, that was on Karma
You
stream.
couldn't
These
do
all
that
happened
even
on
if you
their
tried.
streams.
Come on.
Well, no, but I would never try, so.
Never tried.
Marky
Come on.
knows better, apparently.
Not even in the backfire.
Chill as a cucumber, like that. Wouldn't even try.
Well, I don't want to embarrass myself, you know. Just completely miss the ball, trying to act cool. I don't want to do that.
Not even in a swag fire?
Not even in the smack fire.
Smack fire?
Swag fire.
Quagmire? How many?
Wait, you call it the smack fire?
Yeah, smack fire.
Why do they call it the smack fire?
Because he smacks the ball.
I mean, every car smacks the ball. You can call it the smack out.
Yeah, but
Well,
not
the
400 miles an hour.
But it wouldn't rhyme with other cars, you know.
We heard that. We heard that.
smack team. I don't like the way that sounds at all, actually.
Exactly.
Smackonymous.
Octosmack. We're getting really
Smack
far.
out?
over here.
Smacktimus?
Guys, this episode of
Smack
Overtime,
reveal?
it's going down the tubes right now. It's been a lot of fun. Marky, thank you so much for coming out. It would be a pleasure to have you back at some point.
It would be. It'd be nice to be back.
Yeah, you should just come over anytime you want. We'd love to have you. But for me, for Carpet, for Quinn, for Farty Poodah, down at the end, it's been a great show of Overtime. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week.